Ladies and gentlemen, it is the world's wokest warrior, primitive sided, toxic fanboy aligned with the like minded, Tony Tone Deaf rocking with you. I want to welcome one and all to the Clown World Review. How is everybody doing out there tonight? I got my co host for the night, Jesse the Body, and we're going to be talking AEW Dynamite Grand Slam, previewing it, coming up with some predictions, and hopefully we'll be back soon with the review show as well. We're thinking about maybe making this a permanent thing on Wednesdays, just previewing the show and then coming back and reviewing it the next day. So we'll see how it goes. Like I mentioned, I do have my co host, Jesse the Body, here. How are you doing, brother?
I am great, bro. Are you ready to rock and roll?
I am ready to rock and roll, man. How was your day?
It was great, man. It's been raining here for about 3 days, so I got home early, and I'm just amped for tonight, dude. Like, even if it was just Kenny Omega versus Daniel, I'm gonna do that 100 times versus Brian, for the whole 2 hours. I would still be amped.
That would be a That'd be a killer match. We're previewing the Raw from October 9th last night, and it was Diesel, Shawn Michaels, and Undertaker versus the British Bulldog, Owen Hart, and Yokozuna in a 6-man tag. And Raw's only an hour at this point in its tenure. Okay. This match went on for about 30 minutes, and it was a pretty good match, especially for WWF back then. And that's how they should have treated more Raws, in my opinion, because a lot of it, when you go back and watch those Raws now, it almost feels like WWF Livewire or Shotgun Saturday Night or one of those preview shows where they're showing you, well, this is what happened last week, and it felt like an infomercial for wrestling.
Right, dude. Like, and I think it's interesting that you say that because Stone Cold got me into wrestling, and I've been watching for years. But I had gotten to the point where a couple years back, I really just stopped watching. Like, I was only watching for Bray Wyatt and a couple others, Wade Barrett, and then they would just bury them constantly. Like, Bray Wyatt would do everything in his power to, get over with the fans. Even though he was losing, he'd still get over, and they'd put him in that huge WrestleMania match with John Cena. And John Cena didn't need to win that match. If he had put Bray Wyatt over, they would have made him a megastar. And he didn't. He didn't put Bray Wyatt over. He didn't put Wade Barrett over. Rusev, that's why we have Miro now. Rusev just got buried just like Bray did. What's up, Lucha? Lucha's in the chat, my friend.
Yeah, I see that. In Jay's World, how you doing, brother? Thank you both for tuning in. Thank you, Black Ops. And that's once Vince has power, he'll do some shady shit. He'll treat the Daniel Bryans or the CM Punks or the Bray Wyatts like a carrot, and he dangles them in front of our face to keep us watching. But, we never quite catch that carrot. Or even when, Daniel Bryan won the World Heavyweight Championship, it was they made it a bit lackluster, his entire road to WrestleMania, where they put him in the Wyatt family, which Daniel Bryan just doesn't belong in the Wyatt family.
And they realized that in like 30 seconds. They literally had him in the Wyatt family for maybe a week before they turned him back.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It was such a lackluster road to WrestleMania that again, that carrot they dangle in front of your face. And the same can be said for Bray Wyatt. Real quick, hail superfan Adam Shawhan. How are you doing, brother? We got is that Mr. McCutie?
It looks that way.
Well, Mr. McCutie, probably butchering your name, brother, but welcome. Thank you for joining us. And what does he say? Cena over Rusev at WrestleMania 31 was not a burial, it was a payoff. But yeah, Rusev was buried into oblivion after that. And that's funny. We were just talking about WrestleMania 31 because that's the last show I watched before I stopped watching consistently. I used to watch WWE every single week, and now AEW is starting to fill that void. But yeah, WrestleMania was my last show. Like, after being a lifelong fan, I just was kind of like, it wasn't a bad show. It's not like I watched it and I was like, okay, this is awful, I'm never watching wrestling again. But it was like,
Right.
I watched Seth cash in the Money in the Bank, and I mean, it was just, they say that, and I think I heard Nash actually say this, Kevin Nash, that the opposite of love isn't hate, the opposite of love is indifference. I either heard him or Scott Hall say that in an interview once. Pretty sure it was Kevin Nash. But that's what it was. I was watching Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I had no interest in either of those people winning the match, much less main eventing that WrestleMania. But then Seth Rollins comes out with the Money in the Bank after holding the thing for almost a year and cashes it in, wins the title. And I just kind of felt the same way, indifferent, you know? And that's when I was like, maybe I should walk away from WWE for a little while.
And do you think about how long it took me to, like, for that little while when you got real busy and you weren't able to watch AEW too much? And I just kept bugging you and bugging you and bugging you and like sending you little clips and like, come on, man. I just know that if you're gonna watch it, you're gonna be rehooked, you know, because it got better. When it debuted, it kind of leveled off for a little bit, but then they started adding all these people, dude. You know, and it's just really clicked.
And at first I was even saying like AEW, like maybe Impact reminded me of all the bad things I didn't like about WCW, which it did, maybe more when it was TNA than Impact. But
right,
I would say that AEW reminds me of all the good things of WCW. But just being honest, I think AEW's because WCW always had its weird quirks, its weird ends to matches. You get disqualification finishes on pay-per-views. And not just, once or twice, but consistently. Way more than they should have been. So, I mean, AEW even has WCW beat. You know, it may not have the long history yet that the NWA did or WWF did, but damn, it's a good show. And I'm impressed that Tony Khan could, I know he's got some good people behind him too, but I mean, a lot of people start wrestling promotions and don't make that type of impact, but Tony Khan
a lot
did,
of people, it's hard to get that TV deal, and like Punk, I think it was Punk that was saying that, that how many people would come up to him after he left WWE and they'd say, oh, we got this money and we're going to have this TV deal and you just watch and see and you come do it over here. And every time, without doubt, the people that came, they wouldn't be able to follow through. And that's why it took so long. He said he's been talking to Tony for like 2 years. And they were actually thinking about having him come in before the pandemic started. But Punk just didn't want to do it without an audience. He said it just wouldn't be right without having a crowd.
And it was
to be able to take it in.
And didn't AEW like have their workers in the back and wrestlers and stuff kind of act as the audience? Where WWE had those weird fucking screams.
Yeah, with all the people sitting home eating their nachos watching.
Yes. Between that and the cardboard cutouts for the NFL, it was so dystopian. Like, just... Yeah.
That's what I liked about AEW is they actually had so many, like, wrestlers and stuff. And then after they got to the point where it wasn't quite as serious, they started letting some of the wrestlers' families come, too. So you had, like, a nice little audience there at Daly's place, because it's right next to the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium. It might actually be connected to it. So they were able to bring people in and have a little audience, and it wasn't so, just so weird and quiet.
Man, that's sweet. Well, I'll tell you what, man, we've only got about an hour until showtime, so let's break open this card and see what they're offering tonight, because it's a stacked show. It really is. This main event, and who knows, they could start the show with Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson. I don't know where it is on the card, but wherever it is, that's a main event, and that's a pay-per-view worthy main event. I'm really excited to see these two go at it, and jeez, it's Bryan Danielson's first single match in 12 years. 12 years for Bryan Danielson.
Dude, it's going to be crazy,
not Daniel
bro.
Bryan. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Now
That's a good fact there.
this isn't
So,
for the title, is it? It's just
that's
one-on-one,
how
or
he
is
was
it?
able to get it. That's how
Yeah.
Brian was able to get around it. That Kenny was saying that he's not going to give the match because of the rankings. So Brian couldn't demand a title match because he's 0-0.
Yeah.
So he
Yep.
was able to get around that by just basically putting him in the I don't know what they're going to call it now, the label lock again, and making him tap out, and basically just calling his punk card. Because if you remember on Dynamite, Don Callis was saying, "No, Kenny, no." And Brian was just like, "Oh yeah, well, you don't have any balls. So
Yep.
what's your answer?"
What do you
So
think that would do to Kenny Omega's character? Because he hadn't been pinned in, what was it, 2 years? Close to 2 years.
right.
And then Christian Cage defeated him for the Impact title. What do you think that'll do to Omega's character if he loses again tonight? Because I think there is a real possibility.
I think there's a real possibility. I think in order to continue this, if Brian pins him, it makes sense that then he has a claim to say that I want to be, I need a title match now. I beat you clean, So you have to think that there's going to be some shenanigans involved. I mean, you got the Young Bucks, you got Brandon Cutler, you got Don Callis. I mean, you got the Good Brothers. You know that all these schmucks are going to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
You just know that there's going to be shenanigans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hopefully you would think that Brian's going to have his buds come help him, Jurassic Express, Christian Cage, they've all been having each other's backs. So I would imagine that'll even it out at the end. I don't know. I don't think this is a no DQ match. I think it's a regular match. So I don't think that there's going to be interference allowed, but that doesn't stop it. If you watch Dynamite, there's always like 40 interferences and, just all sorts of things going on. The ref's looking that way. Well, there's somebody over in the corner like spraying the icy hot stuff that they have for their back that they're spraying in each other's faces every 5 seconds.
Yep.
So, I mean, I see that coming. But I think Brian's going to win. I would be surprised if I would like Kenny to win because I think that would cement him. It'd be huge for him to win the match clean. But then I don't know I don't know if you want to bring Brian in and have him be 0-1 because then
exactly.
That's tough to sell.
So if Bryan Danielson does defeat Kenny Omega tonight, do you think it's going to be by pinfall or submission?
Man, that would be tough. And not only has he not lost, because Kenny could say that he didn't lose clean at that on Rampage because Christian used the chair. So he has an out. You can say, well, I got pinned, but he cheated,
Mm-hmm.
So if he gets pinned, he can say that's a fluke. But if he taps out, that's hard to talk your way out of.
Yeah.
That's a little harder to talk your way out of.
One more possibility I've been kind of mulling over. What do you think the chances are that Bryan Danielson is in the Elite by the end of the night?
That'd be crazy. But did you see what they said in the chat? I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
I'm over here. I was going to say I'm over here reading off this webpage. So, yeah, I'm back over here in the chat.
I forgot about the time limit. They could very easily do a draw. And then that way neither one of them would have to lose.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
I was just thinking, the way All Out ended, you had Adam Cole come out. Yeah. You had Adam Cole come out, and then he ends up being part of the Elite. Then Daniel Bryan comes out. What if this is some
swerve,
and maybe you get an Adam Page or someone returning tonight, and they just go NWO on them?
That would be pretty cool. Well, you got to think, too, there's a lot of rumors going around of September 29th, which is next Wednesday. Dynamite's going to be coming from Brody Lee's hometown, Rochester, New York. And there's a lot of rumors going around that if Bray Wyatt's going to debut in AEW, it's going to be next Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, it's the 29th already.
Yeah. And I don't know how he would have gotten out of his non-compete clause, but I'm thinking WWE is still selling his merch. So maybe he worked something out with them. Hey, keep selling my merch and keep it. Just let me out of my non-compete. You know what I mean? Maybe he was able to finagle his way out.
They own The Fiend.
Right. They have pretty
Take
much
it.
everything. Go ahead, take it. Just let me go to Dynamite and do my thing.
Vince is like, I own the Fiend. I own it. It's mine.
Imagine
Damn
he
it,
just gets
Stephanie.
somebody else to play him.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the first time.
No, remember fake Hall and Nash?
Yes.
And then
Back
Gilbert.
when Kane was Diesel.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you remember Goldberg.
I loved Goldberg because I was never a Goldberg fan. This motherfucker, who are you to come into any promotion making demands or, well, I think I should win this match. My son's going to be in the audience watching. Motherfucker, you put Bret the Hitman Hart out of business. Fuck you, dude. And it ain't worth the trade-off.
And Bret had even asked him, like, dude, please be careful with me. Don't hurt me, right.
30 seconds later.
Kick to the head.
Oh, man. Yeah, so, like, who are you to come into any promote? Like, Bret did and gave and just contributed and meant a lot more to the business than Goldberg ever did. I'm sorry, but he may still be around, you know, but in my opinion, Goldberg's always been a bit of a flash in the pan. You know, he's a one-trick pony. And he doesn't have much to offer outside of that. I get he's exciting for some people to watch, but there's not much depth there. Goldberg is all 3 minutes you see in the ring, you know, and there's not much else there. And didn't him and Undertaker stink it up in Saudi Arabia or something?
Yeah, you know why? You know why they stunk it up?
Because Goldberg was in Saudi Arabia. He was nervous.
No. Yeah. He headbutted the thing like he always does, the door, and he gave himself a concussion. So when he tried to pick up Undertaker to do the move, he dropped him. And then he almost dropped him on his head, I think. Right, and then Undertaker screwed up or no, maybe he speared the ring post and got a concussion. But either way, he got a concussion.
I think he did because it was... Okay, so I was at Halloween Havoc 98 DDP versus Goldberg, and that was worked. Then he went to spear... God, I was saying this last night on... if you missed it, every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 Pacific, we review the Monday Night War on this channel. So catch us next Tuesday. But we brought up the Halloween Havoc match between DDP and Goldberg. Number one, that's the best Goldberg match I've seen go over 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Was him versus DDP. Diamond Dallas Page is the only person I've seen get a good wrestling match out of Goldberg.
Right, and that's all DDP, dude. All DDP.
Yeah. That was a spot in the match. He went to, it was getting towards the end. I get chills thinking about it because that's where Goldberg should have dropped the title, not to Nash 2 months later at Starrcade. The whole cattle prong thing. He should have dropped it to down. Man, that would have been good. He went to spear Diamond Dallas Page, and Page jumped out of the turnbuckle, and Goldberg speared the ring post, and that gave you a real sense of he might lose this thing.
Right.
So I remember then he really did that in Saudi Arabia with The Undertaker. That wasn't a spot in the match. He really fucking speared that ring post. Dumbass.
Right.
I mean, Goldberg, yeah, but see, that's the thing too, D-Star. Regal got fired for that match.
That's William when Regal?
When he was Steven Regal and WCW, he got fired for that match.
Really?
And that's because there's conflicting stories. Regal says that someone told him to go out there and wrestle Goldberg, wrestle the match. And then the other side of the story is he came out there kind of bitter, like, who is this guy, you know, coming in squash iron. So he kind of worked him, you know, he was showing up Goldberg with his wrestling skills. So, but either way, he got fired, and that's when he came into the WWF as the man's man.
Right. I remember that.
And then he left and then came back. He got cleaned up off the drugs and everything. Man, I love William Regal. That dude, another fucking gift to the business.
Yeah, I love Regal too. He's amazing, dude. You remember when he
yeah.
used to partner with Tajiri when he was the GM on Raw?
Yep.
Regal was the GM, and then he had Tajiri as his little buddy.
Yep.
That shit was great, man. They had such good chemistry. It was always so funny.
It was. I did Umanga or whatever the fuck he called Umaga. That's someone else I loved was Umaga, man.
Me
Rest
too. And
in
Triple
peace,
H
brother.
called him Triple H.
Triple
Yeah,
H.
man. Triple H.
Yes.
I miss Umaga, man. He was awesome.
So, do you think, like, back onto this main event, do you think we might see Adam Page return tonight?
I would love it, dude. That would be awesome. I don't think so. I mean, I hope he's going to be in the Full Gear main event.
Yeah.
You would think, yeah. Unless they're going to plan to hold him off until next year and have Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega for the title at Full Gear. But then what do you do? Like, you can't let anybody win that title but Page. They've invested almost 2 years in him in that storyline arc with Kenny Omega. So he's got to be the one to take it off Omega. That's the only problem. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they have to figure – they're almost there. If he's coming back at Full Gear, then they're fine. Like you said, if he comes back tonight and they set up that match between Omega and him, and then, then that way he's going to win at Full Gear, that would be wonderful. But if they're not and they're going to wait till Revolution next year, which I think is in January or February – they've got to stall. They got to stall some stuff out. So, maybe Bryan wins tonight somehow, or it goes to a time limit count, draw. And then that way you can do Bryan versus Kenny at the pay-per-view. And then you find a way to have a screwy finish so he doesn't win the belt and he doesn't lose. And then he can go, like, say Adam Cole screws him over, right? And then that way you can set up Adam Cole versus Bryan going forward. Then you bring Hangman back and then set the feud up with because Hangman, you gotta think he was dropped down to the bottom. So when he lost that match, when he would have got his title shot, since he lost that, now he's got to come back and work his way back up to be number one again. He can't just come straight back in because Kenny's not gonna let that happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's gonna take a while. He's gonna have to come back and probably win about 9 or 10 matches to get back to the number one ranking. So I mean, honestly, you could do Bryan tonight. You could do Bryan at the pay-per-view. Then he could probably wrestle somebody else on that December. You remember when Sting debuted last year on Winter is Coming? They'll probably have that Winter is Coming special again in December. So, he could wrestle somebody like, Will Hobbs, or they could elevate Darby Allin, Malachi Black, any of those people,
Yeah.
And he could beat them and then go on to fight Hangman at the Revolution. I have to double check if it's in January or February. I don't know. If maybe someone in the chat can help me out on that.
Well,
But do you want to talk about some of the other matches?
Well, that's what I was going to mention. Even if Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega is not a title match, we do have a title match on the card tonight, and that is Tony Khan's Golden Girl, the baddest bitch on the block, the AEW Women's Champion, Britt Baker, DMD
versus Ruby Soho.
Versus who JR will call Ruby Riot at least twice tonight.
You think they got him? I wonder what they do to him, but get him ready for the show.
They should put a shock collar on him, so every time he calls one of the stars by their WWE name,
that's probably why they kept Big Show. They probably just decided not to put Paul White anywhere near this. They're like, okay, look, he's gonna call what's her face Ruby Riot. Let's just go with that. Because I'm pretty sure he called Malachi Black Aleister Black. I'm sure he called him that. He called him Tommy N when he debuted. He doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
He probably wonders if Brian Pillman's still alive. He's like, man, this is weird. I thought that guy died. How is he on the show?
to be fair,
yeah.
JR has been doing that for a long time. When Benoit and Jericho would feud, I mean, he would constantly... He'd be Jericho killed his family. Jericho killed his family. Like what? What did you say,
you got
Jim?
Jericho's literally narrating the fucking the dark side of the ring about it, and Jim Ross is like, "Oh my goodness, Jericho killed his family."
Yeah, but
He's like,
he messes up because it was Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit. I mean, it's the two
right.
Chris's, but he used to constantly, that'd piss Vince McMahon off too.
Oh
God
yeah, dude.
damn it, Jim, get their names right, yelling through the earpiece.
Well, you remember when you used to do when you did Mr. Heine after like Jim Ross had surgery in real life, and Vince is over there making fun of him on Raw. Like they had his surgery. They had somebody else playing Jim Ross, and they were making fun of his surgery on Raw. So when he woke up from his real surgery, they called him and they were like, "Did you see Raw?" And he was like, I was on surgery." And then he saw like Vince making fun of him on Monday Night Raw while he's actually having surgery.
Jesus, fucking Vince.
Can you imagine?
Fucking Vince.
What an awful person.
I don't hate Vince McMahon. There are parts of him that really get on my nerves, but if he was completely gone from the business, I would miss him. And it's going to happen eventually, but his sense of humor, it's a special one. He's got a very special sense of humor. But back to this match. I went for a JR joke on Ruby Soho, and here we are 30 minutes later talking about his greatest WWF hits. Yeah.
Right.
Personally, this is Ruby Soho's shot from when she won the Casino Battle Royal at All Out. I think Britt's got this. I mean, it's going to be a pretty, I don't think we're going to see much special in this match. I just think it's going to be a clean match, probably a pretty good match. But I think Britt Baker's going to win clean. People. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Hopefully.
I didn't know a lot about Ruby. I listened to this past week. I drive around for my job as UU. I listened to Ruby Soho on Jericho's podcast. And do you know a band called Rancid, Tony?
Yeah. It's they sing the song that they sing Ruby Soho. That's her entrance.
Right.
Theme.
Well, the lead singer from Rancid had her. I think his name is Lance Fredrickson or Hendrickson, something like that. He had her on the podcast, and he was asking her what's going to be her name going forward, and she said, "I want to keep Ruby." And he recommended, "Well, why don't you go with Ruby Soho? I'll call my people and I'll get you the name. We'll trademark it." As soon as I heard
her name, I'm like, "Oh, like the Rancid song." And then she came out to it. But yeah, I like Rancid. I used to have their CD back in the 90s. Huh. They had a couple good songs.
He did that for her.
Yeah. That's real cool.
And she was,
he's making royalties too. Every time her entrance theme's on, he's getting paid royalties too. So
right. So everybody's winning.
So Mr. M said he predicts Soho over. A loss won't hurt Britt at all. So you think she's gonna, Mr. I'm sorry, dude. I don't want to mess up your name, Mr. MeQT. You think Ruby Soho's gonna win the women's title tonight over Britt? Or would it maybe be a disputed loss? Something like, I don't want him to end it in a DQ, but
right.
Yeah.
Well, we can do our predictions before we go off. Because I'm looking at it right now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches and then a CM Punk interview. I'm going to agree with you, Tony. As much as I like Ruby, and I think it sucks that she's going to have to lose this match, that's the only thing I don't agree with about AEW. Is when you win these battle royals and these casino battle royals. Like in WWE, I like that the Money in the Bank, you don't have to cash it in immediately. Like when these folks come in from somewhere else and they win these battle royals, their first feud is for the title, and inevitably they always lose. It happened with Brian Cage. It happened with Murder Hawk Lance Archer.
That's why Thunder Rosa should have won.
Right. Well, and that's the thing that's weird about that. They've talked about the Thunder Rosa is going to be the one to take it off Britt Baker, but they're holding off to do that feud next year. They're going to do it probably for January or February. And I love Thunder Rosa, dude. She is fantastic. So
real quick, hail Parrot Head. How are you doing, brother? It's good to see you. It's good to see you, man. No.
What's up, Parrot Head?
Yeah, Parrot Head, dude. He's like the master of memes right here. Fucking dude's awesome. Fucking,
really? I love memes.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Well, I know who doesn't. Pat McNeil.
Yeah. Shout out to Pat McNeil.
You're out there
I
watching, buddy.
the I guess selfish part of me really wants to see Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa, but I also want to see her. I want to see Thunder Rosa go over. That's my girl. I want to see her as champion one day.
I was actually bummed out that Chris Statlander had to lose to her so early on because she was like, what, 15-0 since she came back from her ACL surgery? She's fantastic. And that girl is strong as hell. Very strong.
They've got such a strong women's division. Bunny is the perfect heel, in my opinion. Like, they should really put maybe, I know Britt Baker's kind of a tweener right now, kind of a heel, but they really like her.
Right.
For some reason, if she has to miss some action, or if she's put on the back burner one day or something, they could really push Bunny as a killer heel. She just has the look. She sells wonderfully in the ring.
And she's crazy. She has that crazy thing down.
Yeah.
She acts crazy.
Yeah. I really like her. D-Star says Ruby ain't winning. Well, I agree, man.
Well, you remember when AEW started, one of the biggest concerns and one of the most talked about things was how weak the women's division was. I mean, literally, Shida was the champion for almost a year. She was pretty much the champion throughout the whole pandemic. Because remember, it was Rio first, and then Nyla Rose won.
Yeah.
Right. No, I agree. But now they have just a fantastic stack. And we didn't even mention legit Layla Hirsch. Let's give her a shout out. She's amazing.
Yeah.
The little short
and fucking Jade Cargill.
Yeah, so of course she had to kill Layla last week. I get it, but I think Layla overall is a better wrestler.
She's definitely more of the athlete, but then Cargill, she just has presence in the ring.
Right. Cargill's a beast, dude. I don't know how they're gonna hold. The problem with that is that she's gonna be number one pretty soon, and they're gonna have to pull the trigger on her versus Britt. So that's gonna be crazy.
And she might win. She might be the one to dethrone Britt Baker. I could see that. She would look good with the title. She would.
Yeah.
And she's got that demeanor about her.
She really does.
Yeah.
She's going to be a star
and then
down
Thunder
the road.
Rosa can beat her for the title.
Hey, as long as Thunder Rosa gets it, I don't care who she beats.
Yeah. That's my girl.
All right. So, what else do you want to talk about next? Do you want to talk about Malachi versus Cody?
That's the match. I think I'm probably now. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson. Malachi Black is becoming one of my favorites, and I think Cody will do the right thing here. He needs to put Malachi over again. I get it that I know what happened last time they were in the ring together. But dude's got so much momentum right now. He should, in my opinion, and now that they've got Cody pissed off, he beat the hell out of Dustin. He's just been on this killer streak. And you see Cody mad. Last week they fought into the audience. I think they should go in the ring tonight, and Malachi Black should dominate him even more decisively than he did last time.
Well, here's the thing. They're at a crossroads right now, and no pun intended. But they need to capitalize. Right now, they're building a super mega star in Malachi Black. WWE he was a star in NXT. He was an NXT champion. They brought him up to the main roster. They threw him with Ricochet, I think. They didn't know what they were doing with him. You know what I mean? And he just floundered, He would have he had amazing matches with Buddy Murphy. I don't know if you know who Buddy Murphy is or not.
I don't. And I knew the name Aleister Black, but that was after I had kind of quit watching. Fuck, man, this guy is good.
Yeah. But they can create a megastar tonight. If they go the route that they've gone before and let Cody win this rematch, they're gonna pull the rug out from this guy. Everyone's gonna be like, "Whoa, wow, he was great, but he couldn't even beat Cody the second time." Because they did the same thing with Brody Lee. Now I get maybe Brody Lee was already kind of sick when that happened. I don't know that for sure. But Cody came back and he had to beat Brody. He had to get his win back and win the TNT title back. Don't do that tonight. Let's learn from our mistakes, and let's not do that because that took all the momentum away from Brody too. So let's not screw that up. Let's let Malachi go over, like you said.
Yes.
I think Malachi should have been wrecking these fools. He should have beaten Dustin in a shorter match than what he did. I think he should have just wrecked him.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because he's older too.
Eventually,
You
he's
know,
going to have some longer matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. I think he's 36.
Who, Dustin?
Wait, are you talking about Dustin or are you talking about Malachi?
No, I'm saying, yeah, because Dustin shouldn't have lasted as long. Because I get he's a ring vet, you know, but you've got
he's like
Malachi,
51, dude.
Yeah, exactly. He should have, maybe beaten Dustin Rhodes a little more decisively. But I mean, it's still no harm, no foul. I guess. I mean, it's So I agree with that. So
let's
Sorry,
keep it
brother.
simple.
I'm looking.
Let's have Malachi go out there. No, you're good, bro. We only got 2 more matches to cover, and we're doing Goober at 7:20 my time. So
yeah.
I don't know how you're gonna be able to wait, man. You're gonna be sitting there like just chomping at the bit wanting to watch this.
Well,
you're doing your stream.
Yeah, exactly. The thing with me, everyone, if you don't know, I'm on the West Coast, so I could jump on the TNT app, but I have another live stream right after this over at Etepicuians, the place to be reviews. I'll talk about that in a couple minutes, but it comes on right around the time we're ending. What's that?
What's your stream about tonight? I don't know that one. That one's not about wrestling, right?
You know, it's more pop culture based. We talk about movies. Let me go over here, see if he sent the outline over yet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so tonight what we're going to be talking about, we have a segment called Holy Shit News where 90% of it's coming out of Florida, but we talk about just crazy news stories like label conscious Florida man arrested on felony drug charges. Gondola duo busted again for indecency. So apparently someone was having sex on a gondola. So, you know, we usually open the show with some crazy news stories, just talk about them. But then we go into our main topics, which the main topics tonight, I guess we're going to talk about the What If episode from today, the Marvel What If episode with Thor. And then we're going to be talking about news story from Bounding into Comics. Star Wars oversaturation, not a worry, claims Lucasfilm executive. So we'll be talking Marvel and Star Wars as the main topics tonight. That's over at here. I might as well drop a link right now in case anybody is interested. But that's over at Etepicuians, the place to be reviews. And we're over there streaming every Monday and Wednesday night. So who do we have here?
That's awesome.
Phoenix Star.
Kimmy. What's up, Kimmy? Hey, Broken Kimmy.
Hey, Broken Kimmy. It's nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. And
yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you for being here. I'm the guy who's always saying crazy shit in the AEW chat, so excuse me.
Hey, man, somebody's got to be crazy.
Yes. Somebody's because if not, we'd all be crazy.
I think it's interesting. I think me and Kimmy were talking about this the other night in the chat that AEW honestly isn't even trying to pull their best rating ever. Like they might be, angling for that, but they don't even have the best match lineup they could tonight. They put some of the matches two of the matches I think could really draw some more viewers are going to be on Rampage instead of on Dynamite because you got CM Punk on Rampage wrestling his first televised match in 7 years? Because, I mean, he had the match at the pay-per-view, but that wasn't on TV. So you got that match, and then Adam Cole and the Bucks versus it's the Elite match. Adam Cole and the Bucks versus Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. That's a fantastic match.
Do they do a lot of house shows?
And then you also have Murder Hawk. Who, AEW?
Yeah. Because the only thing I'm worried about with
they're
Punk,
not doing any house shows right now.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I really want him to wrestle more just to get back into the groove of things. And I'm sure he's practicing, when the cameras are off.
You know who he's training with, don't you?
Malachi, right?
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
is super
yeah.
cool.
Yes,
So I mean, he's
who better to train with, you know? So
right. That's badass.
yeah, and
And then
you know, I
even the
think they don't want to.
other match, you got.
What's that, brother?
Go ahead, my bad.
Oh, I was just gonna reply
The other
to
match that I'm
Kimmy
looking
here.
forward
That
to
I
on
just don't.
Rampage is yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they want to overload the card too much and have like any of these great matches fall by the wayside. But I get what you like. They were announcing so much last week where this is going to be on Rampage, this is going to be on Dynamite. It's kind of hard to keep track because there are so many good matches coming this week. But God, it's going to be such a strong week
Yeah,
for
dude. Like,
AEW.
imagine this is like a pay-per-view. It's a pay-per-view on free TV, basically.
And even Friday, then it's going to be
No
a
doubt.
2-hour Rampage. I mean, that's probably going to be close to pay-per-view worthy. I mean, yeah, right now, just seeing CM Punk wrestle at all is kind of a big deal, you know? You with me, bro?
Hey, so Tony, what do you think about having a guest next week? Yeah, I'm here. What do you think about having a guest next week? She gets to throw her hat to the ring.
Sure, yeah,
Tune for that?
You're always welcome on my channel, so definitely, if you want to join next week, you're more than welcome, Kimmy. Thank you. I'll drop you a link over on Twitter when we're getting ready to go on and stuff. So, Superfan Adam Shahan says, hell yes, CM Punk. And I think that's what we're all saying right now. As long as it ain't a UFC ring, hell yeah, CM Punk.
I am with you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, cool. Because there was a little static, so I turned my Wi-Fi back on.
I was thinking you might be a bit delayed, but that's okay. We can work around that.
Okay, cool. So I think she's excited, bro.
Yeah, I am too. That's awesome. I can't wait for next week now.
I mean, if she wants to, she could maybe even do the review show with us, depending on her schedule.
Yeah, definitely.
Or whatever you guys think.
So back to this card, I think we're unanimous that Malachi should go over on Cody.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think for FTR versus King and Darby? What do you think they're going to do there?
So I think they need to build up. FTR is a heel tag team, right? They're heels. I think the heels, like, we're going to need some strong heel tag teams now to go against the Lucha Brothers. So I'd like to see FTR go over.
Yeah, because Sting and Darby don't need to win. They really don't.
Yeah, they're not going to lose anything losing a tag match.
Right. Not only that, but since Sting has debuted, he's not lost. So, I mean, it's not going to hurt. I'm sure Darby would take the pin anyway. So, honestly, I don't see how it would hurt either of them.
Yeah. And I mean, it might even cause some drama in between them, you know, losing as a tag team. Because I'm just saying they can't be together forever.
That would be interesting.
You know? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they love to do father versus son. So, I mean, eventually, you know, Daddy Sting and son Darby are going to have to feud, you know?
Yeah. And hail Angelus Draven, my brother from another mother. Thank you for joining us as well. I'm actually going to be streaming with Draven over at Itapakuian's Place to Be reviews in about 1 hour. I'll drop another link before we go off, before we go off.
I remember that name. I remember Draven. I think you were telling me about him.
We when we had the big Fandom Collective meetup in Las Vegas, Draven flew out here and I actually got to meet him, hang out with him for the weekend. It was awesome.
That's right. Yeah, you told me all about that. Was he in one of the pictures you sent us?
Yes. Yeah. He is. And that
you.
first
Okay.
night when we were downtown Las Vegas, when I was standing with that dude, that vampire, that was Draven. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I got you. That's
Yeah.
right. That sounded like a fun time, dude. Even though I got to get out there one of those years. Do you guys do it every year?
And so this was the first time. They're thinking about doing it in different parts of the country throughout the year, but yeah, they're talking about an annual Vegas trip. So that would
be
fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
We've been talking about taking a trip out to Vegas for a while now. So, I mean, maybe we can link it up with that.
Yes.
That would be fun.
Yes. Yeah, actually, then superfan Adam Shahan, also fucking great guy. He actually Draven is busy. Draven is worldwide. He can't just stay in one spot. So just like 2 weeks ago, Adam and Draven met at Horror Hound in, I believe, Cincinnati. Because Draven's on tour.
Cool.
Draven's on tour. He can't just stay
kidding.
in one spot. There are too many fans who want to meet the guy. So, yeah.
So does he travel around to like Comic-Con and things like that?
He turns into a bat and flies there. He's a vampire, man.
That's what's up, man. Like True Blood type of thing, or are we talking like Batman?
The Wuhan wet market's where you'll find him.
That's cool.
Yeah, so.
Well, listen, Tony, we got to talk about Kimmy's favorite match of the night, man. We can't leave this out because I know she would be very disappointed if we did not mention her man, MJF. You got MJF taking on Brian Pillman Jr.
I'm excited for this because, there's not a day that goes by, and especially since we've been reviewing the Monday Night War, I miss Brian Pillman so much. Like, that just what a loss to the industry when he passed. When Steve Austin first won the WWF championship and they didn't have heels for him, Brian Pillman would have fit that slot perfect until The Rock was elevated.
Team in WCW?
Yep,
or
the Hollywood
tag team
Blondes.
In WWE? Right.
In WCW.
That's where the name came from. That's where he came up with the name for his team, right? The Varsity Blondes.
Yep.
Pillman.
Yep. So I've got love for Brian Pillman. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they tried to talk him out of it because they didn't like the name, and he still went with it. And Tony Khan and them liked the name, and they went with it.
I got a lot of love for that family, even Metheny. But I'm excited to see that.
Let's all agree. There's no way he's going over MJF, dude. MJF's going to win that match. Like, no.
And that's what I was thinking. MJF just did the job.
No way he's winning.
Yeah, he just did the job to Chris Jericho, and he's, as much as I like the Pillman family and as much as I want to see Junior succeed, MJF is on a rocket to who knows how high he can go right now. Dude is by the time his career is over, he's gonna have made his mark on the industry. And I've said this before, he reminds me of a Randy Orton who actually puts in 100%. Randy Orton is like, I love the guy, but he's, what's that?
You're talking about MJF, right?
Yeah, MJF. Yeah. See, Randy Orton, he's kind of like a 70%er. Right, there was so much potential when he was younger and winning the world title, and then Triple H had to beat him for it. And there was so much excitement around Randy Orton. And then he just kind of, he's been coasting since then. MJF, on the other hand,
Randy Orton has been coasting for years, dude. Coasting for years. Oh my God! Don't even get me started on the Randy Orton versus John Cena matches. If I ever have to see another Randy Orton versus John Cena match, I will jump out a window.
Well, it's what the fans want to see. So I think MJF is going over in this match because he needs to be built up strong and he needs to be cultured and nurtured and taken care of until he's ready to be the man, and he will be the man. And God forbid there are injuries. He's already ready, bro. Yeah, I believe that he will one day be able to carry that company on his back if needed. Now, will that happen? I don't think so, because there's a lot of loyalty. feels like a family within AEW, and I think they're always going to have great talents to be the man. But MJF, he's a talent, and the dude is young. He's got his whole life ahead of him, and he's already made such an impact.
Yeah.
So MJF goes over.
He's such a good heel.
Yeah,
no doubt. And then we got our CM Punk interview, bro. What's gonna happen there? Think he's gonna go over?
Man, I'm trying to think of who JR is gonna call him. Like if he better be glad. Yeah, he better be glad CM Punk has the same name now as he did back then. Because
oh, he's gonna call Bryan Danielson Daniel Bryan. Did we say that? We forgot about that.
Oh yeah, that's covered.
There's
maybe what he'll do, since he can't mess up CM Punk's name, maybe when Punk is coming out to Cult of Personality, JR will sing his old theme song. Like, even through our darkest days.
Kill Switch Engage, baby. Kill Switch Engage. Yes. That was an awesome song. I love that song. I will go on a limb here, and I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. I like that song better than Cult of Personality.
I do too, but Cult of Personality isn't a song that I listen really, like I had heard it before, but I never would have listened to it before CM Punk, but it fits him. And it's a pretty good wrestling theme. Right. I thought it was weird at first when he first started using it. I'm like, huh? But I mean, it fits. It works.
It was kind of weird, right? Like when he came back with it.
Yeah. When he pretended to quit the WWE.
Draven knows that Punk and Taz are feuding.
Yeah. So
Draven knows what's going on. Dude. He's got it.
That's probably what the interview will be based around tonight. They already snuck up and attacked him, so I don't know if that's going to happen again. But
right.
God, that's going to be a good match on Rampage. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, Rampage is almost as stacked as Dynamite, to be honest.
Yeah,
it really is.
And Kimmy, I'm waiting for the mic work between MJF and CM Punk. Those are going to be some outstanding promos, and then they're going to deliver in the ring. That will be a pretty awesome.
You know what that's going to remind me of? You know what feud that's
Orton versus Cena.
That remind me of on the mic though? Like it's no. It reminded me of Chris Jericho versus The Rock, mic work wise.
Yeah.
Heel Chris Jericho versus a face Rock. Yeah, because they were great on the mic. Jericho was one of the only people that could ever hang with Rocky.
See, yeah. I mean, in his debut, they put him out there with The Rock, and they had a great exchange.
Jericho's amazing on the mic, dude. That's one thing that it's disappointing.
Yeah,
because his body is going away from him, but he's still such a great talker.
Yeah. My only issue, Draven, with Punk versus Sting is obviously he's a little older now, but Sting kind of comes from the Hogan era where the big guys didn't have to be as technical, and I don't know. He's a little. I don't want to get no hate for this, but I probably will. But Sting's always been a little sloppy in the ring to me. But I mean, if he were to have a good match with anyone, I know it would be Punk. But I mean, God, when I think of big matches with Sting, it goes back to Starrcade '97. There's always something missing from him. He's a great personality and a great performer, but yeah, I don't know how a Punk and Sting match would come out. I'm hoping good, but Darby Punk versus Team Taz would be cool, and that would be. It makes sense for Darby Allin and Punk. What's that, brother? Lucy, squirrel in the back of the house. Jess.
Can you hear me?
I can now. What did you say?
Okay, cool. You're breaking.
I'm breaking up. See, you're breaking up too, so I don't know if it's me or you. We'll let the chat decide. Who's breaking up? Is it me or is it Jesse the body? Oh, he crashed. I see. Well, yeah, just come back in, brother. No big deal. And I'll carry the show until then, like I'm MJF, you know? Who in the blue hell are you? Who in the blue hell are you, superfan? Talk to me like that, bro. What's up? No. I just watched the Smoking Skull interview with Jericho. It was awesome to see his evolution through the years. You know, it was. The first time I saw Jericho live was WCW Monday Nitro. And that was here we got Jess back. Okay, so Monday Nitro.
Hey, I'm back.
Right
My
after.
bad.
Oh, you're good, brother. It was the Nitro after Bash at the Beach 1998, and it was the week after Goldberg defeated Hogan for the title on Nitro. It's the first time I saw Jericho live, and he was the Cruiserweight champion. The next time I saw him, maybe he was the television champion then. I think he was the television champion the first time I saw him. Next time I saw him, he was the U.S. champion. Then the next time I saw Jericho, he was the Intercontinental Champion in WWF. And then the next time I saw him, he was the Undisputed Champion with both title belts. So, like, I've quite literally, just from live shows, I have seen Jericho go from the directionless purgatory that was the WCW mid-card to the highest echelons of the wrestling business. And I mean, he beat Austin and Rock that same. I still remember watching that pay-per-view. I wasn't expecting Jericho to walk out. You know, I was thinking maybe Kurt Angle, hoping for Steve Austin. He's always been my favorite. But I was not mad when Jericho pinned Rock and Austin in that night. Fuck, man, he is such a good performer. I love Chris Jericho. So yeah, it is awesome to see his evolution through the years. And he's still out there today just putting in work.
Dude, it's awesome too how many times he's reinvented himself, because even when he left, you know, he came back and he had that awesome run with Kevin Owens in WWE with the list of Jericho. And then him and Owens got screwed out of their WrestleMania main event. And that's when he, you know, decided to go to Japan and give things a try over there and realize how much fun wrestling could still be. That he was just saying that to Ruby Soho on their interview last week, maybe 2 weeks ago now. And, you know, he had that match with Kenny and he became the Painmaker. You know what I mean? And he realized he could have fun and he still was a value, you know. Vince McMahon made him feel like he wasn't valuable anymore. It made him feel like he was just, you know, a piece of shit down the card that could be pushed aside, you know, for Goldberg, the main event.
Yeah.
You know?
Fucking
and
Goldberg.
I think that's what AEW is all about, dude.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like they're getting everything right now, and it's awesome. Good to see that. Yeah.
Well, brother, I know you got to do your stream soon. Did you want to talk a little more about that so you can get your link out there? And I know you guys go live in about 17 minutes.
Well, we go live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. Now, I'm sure everyone in here will probably be watching Dynamite at that time. But if you'd like to, come on over to Etepukuian's Place to Be Reviews. Let me drop this link in the chat. And again, we're going to be talking a little bit about Marvel What If. We're going to be talking some Star Wars, going over some crazy stories, and you never know what might happen over at Etepukuian's Place to Be Reviews. So please come check us out. I know we're about 15 minutes from the big show. I'll probably might watch the beginning of that on the TNT app. Yeah, we're about 15 minutes from the Paul White here.
Jim Ross, you got Jim Ross confused already. Paul White, yeah. Paul White's going to be on tonight.
Poor JR.
They're pumping it full of Adderall right now, just like Biden.
He felt he didn't belong on the mid card. And yeah, you know, Dre, I was just watching something on Jericho. it was his feud with Goldberg. He kept calling out Goldberg on the mic, and they had nothing planned for it. But the fans really got behind it, and they wanted to see Jericho versus Goldberg. And again, Goldberg being a dick, like, who are you, dude? You're lucky to get this break. But Goldberg saying, I don't want to work with Jericho, because why would he give anyone a break? You know, it's all about what you can do for Goldberg and never the return.
Right. I remember hearing about
and
that.
It's
Jericho's
still
talked about
like
it.
that. Yeah. Like he probably got in the ring with Undertaker thinking Taker was lucky to be in the ring with him. You know, that's why I don't like Goldberg. You know, at least Shawn Michaels, for as much of an ass he could be, at least he'd get in the fucking ring and back it up. That's something Bill Goldberg has never been able to do. So if he didn't have such an attitude, that's why I don't understand why Ryback got so much hate, because at least the guy did have some humility. But you know, it is what it is. That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. So Jesse, is there anything else you wanted to say, to talk about anything else before we jump off here tonight?
Well, I just want to say that I think this is a great first chat. You know, I want to keep this rolling.
Definitely.
I was a little nervous because I don't think I've ever been on a podcast before, to be honest with you. I was supposed to do that one with Simon, and that didn't go over. So yeah, man, I'm excited to burst my podcast bubble with you. So that's cool. I'm excited to keep this going. We'll figure out a date. I don't know. I know you said you'll probably watch all of it tomorrow, maybe. So maybe we can do the podcast on either tomorrow
Hopefully
or
I can
Friday,
catch
the
it
review
tonight.
one.
I'm hoping to catch it tonight after the stream, because it's such a big show. Yeah, and I really want to jump on here and review it, preview Rampage.
Yeah, I just want to try to get our Rampage. If we can do it before Rampage. Well, we got till 10:00 Friday night, so I mean, we can just make it a quick review and then talk a little bit about Rampage. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. After this card tonight, I don't know if I can make it a quick review, but I'll try. But I'm probably going to want to dissect what happens on tonight's show. And again, I have the feeling, and it's hard to say this when you just introduced Adam Cole, CM Punk, and Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson. There I go, pulling a JR. When you introduce them within weeks of each other, but I just have a feeling something noteworthy is going to happen tonight. Something something big. Yeah. I feel like something's going to happen tonight. So let's all make sure to tune in. And if you're not watching AEW, I hope to see you over at eTapakulian's Place to Be Reviews. It's a fun show. Just like this hour went by quick, bro.
Tony, look, your buddy wants to be on too. That's cool.
Yeah, dude, Draven, you're always welcome on my channel as well, bro. I would love to talk about some AEW with you. Yeah, Draven was streaming All Out. You know, he had a commentary on his channel, so make sure to
maybe we could do a 4-way with him and Kimmy.
Yeah, I'm always
we could do like a 4-way, couldn't we? That'd be cool.
Yeah. That would be a fun show. Definitely.
And I'm gonna work on getting a mic this week too, guys. So
yeah. Cool, man. I don't know if you have an Amazon account, but check them out too. They may have I think I ended up getting mine at Target though. It was on sale too. It was like Black Friday or something, so I got a pretty good deal on it. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you sound like T-Pain.
Do I? That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy you
like say what you said one more time. Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying they have them cheap at Target.
Yeah. So yeah, no worries, dude. I know StreamYard does hate phones, like Superfan Adam Shahan had mentioned. So yeah, whenever you can get that. But either way, bro, this has been fun. And everyone.
Outlaw said he's got a mic I can borrow, Tony. So let's maybe try that for the review.
Perfect.
So maybe that'll be better.
Sounds good to me. So let's aim for Friday for the review. I think that would be best.
Yeah, like Friday after work, maybe.
Yeah,
That work for you?
yeah. Just because I have something coming up tomorrow, but maybe we can let's try for Friday this week, and we'll find a we'll settle into whatever time works best for all of us. So everybody,
Right. And I just want
Superfan
to thank
Adam
everybody
Shaw
who came
here.
out to the chat tonight.
Yeah, Superfan, Draven, Kimmy. There's so many people. Louise, Black
Outlaw,
Ops,
Jay,
Parrot Head,
Lucha.
D-Star, Mr. Me Cutie. So many joined and so many new names. We appreciate it. You guys make all of this worth it. Without the chat, there ain't much of a show. So thank you. We appreciate you, and go enjoy Dynamite. We will be back soon. I love you all, and remember, they are not pop culture. They are agenda. Jay's World, thank you. Thank you, Jay's World. I knew I was forgetting somebody. Thank you, Jay's World. I appreciate that. Again, they are not pop culture. They are agenda. We are pop culture, and we'll see you soon.